El HaTeva, number 7, to the box with a katon. So this is going to have some doubleness about it.
Okay, that part I got already. Yeah.
While flying over the ark, the pigeon asked for Noah's permission for re-entry to the box, as specified by the shape of the bipartite reading mark. So, either Noah was going to allow it to land, or he was going to tell it to continue its mission. So it had Noah ultimately, as the commander here, had the choice of telling it, okay, that's enough, or you got to keep on trying, and that's why we get this doubleness of El HaTeva. And again, that tells us something new, that there were much more in terms of communication and order and understanding between Noah and the Yonah than we would have known without this doubleness of the note.
So it's like a Jewish Dr. Doolittle, you're saying. So did he? Because
he was able to communicate ideas and concepts to the Yonah. Tell him, no, you got to keep on trying, or it's okay to come in. Why would a bird ask? If the bird was tired and there was no place to rest, it would have come back.
Sure.
So we're saying that with this katon, there's something more here, that it subjugated its nature to Noah's will, which is, so it asked him permission, can I come back now? Which is not something that an animal normally would do. It would follow its instinct. I'm tired, I'm going to rest. So pause after that, and ki with a mercha. Mercha lightly folds in what's before, but mostly focuses on what's going to come afterwards. It's Misharet, number 8, because...
So that's the case, and what does that
That's
do?
a mercha, which, again, that's a mercha.
Oh, I thought it was
America usually.
So it's going to lightly fold in what was from before, but mostly focus you on what's going to go afterwards.
It's going that direction, yeah.
Respecting Noach's position as the commander, it intended to deliver the message directly to him inside the ark, because he would be able to formulate future decisions accordingly, as illustrated by the directional shape of the reading mark. So we're still talking about the mission, that it came back, but it came back on orders, and it came back expecting Noah to give it new directions. So that knowing that it's coming back on orders and that it's expecting new directions is because of the mercha. The mercha likely folds in that concept that we had before from the teva, the idea of it respecting Noah's chain of command, and that it's going to look forward to what's going to go on, number 9, mayim, with a tipcha.
There's another thing I have to unlearn, because I'm so used to tipcha, but you're saying you can't look at it that way.
That's the pshat. So no question. There is meaning to that. However, there is a separate meaning above and beyond that word, mayim, was assigned a note of its own, must be a reason that it was assigned a note of its own, and must be a reason that it was assigned a tipcha.
Unless kadma bazla, or I mean, merchat tipcha is a note, but there's no note merchat tipcha. Like
it's so mercha can be combined with something else. You can have it coming with mercha sof pasuk. You can have it with, so it can have something else afterwards. So it has to be able to stand alone. Each one of the notes can come singly, and because they can come singly, they have to have meaning in and of themselves.
Or maybe you're saying, is that the only choice? Like maybe the other one said mercha.
That's the basis of this perush. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to say it any other way.
I know, yeah.
So maybe I will give you one of these books to take home. No. I will give you one of these books to take home. Your Hebrew's good enough; they'll understand it. It's not an issue. They will tell you that the notes stand alone. And again, we're gonna continue on. Mayim, number 9, water. Tipcha.
So it's gonna. I just want to make it like let's say in English. I don't know that. Like, okay, a T has a T sound, an H has an H sound, but when a T and H goes, like a diphthong, right? Is that the word?
Mm-hmm.
So when a T and H go together, it makes a separate sound. Z. You know what I mean?
So
maybe I'm saying what I'm trying to...
we will have words that will have two notes on it. A pashta katon, for instance.
On the same note?
On the same word. So that will happen sometimes.
Uh-huh.
But this perush will tell us that the word has got to have something that is both the character of a pashta and the character of a katon, because it was assigned two notes. So no, each note comes with a meaning. And what we are divining here is we're trying to divine the meaning.
That's Corinne. That's why I said you're at an advantage, because you never had that I have to forget what I learned all along is that, you know, I keep saying Kad Mabazba goes together and Merchat Yukha goes together because that's the way it was in the Tikkun and that's the way my teacher taught me to
they
sing
do.
it. And
they do. Bisharit and Melech. So it's going to say that the one is going to lead into the other. But
more
the
from
one,
a sound point of view,
the one has its own wholeness, its own something that it's talking about, more than just the single word that's there. And the thing that it leads to is more than just the word that's there. It's the concept together with its note.
Perhaps another way to look at it, and I hope I'm not muddying the waters.
You're muddying the water?
Muddying the waters.
No, but we're talking about water.
Because we're looking at it at several different levels, the notes that you know and the combination of notes, as Jeff points out, gives you the pshat. So that's 100% valid at the level of pshat.
Mm-hmm.
And the purpose of this parish is say, okay, we get the pshat, but what now if we reparse it, individually, it'll tell us another more deep story. Right? So it doesn't negate the pshat, it doesn't negate the kadma v'ezla coming together. Because, as Jeff points out, that gives you the level of pshat. Where you put the psik, where you put the emphasis, helps tell the correct kind of story. Right? But now, knowing the general story, now let's go even deeper and go note by note. Right? It's like breaking down components to their subcomponents. The components give you one picture, and the subcomponents give you the deeper level picture.
We did the Mayim one? What did we say?
We haven't said about the Mayim. Okay. So Mayim is the Tipcha. So it's going to fold in what's come from before and then pause after it. So we're saying that the Yonah, the dove, the pigeon, is going to give a report to Noah for him to make further decisions. The pigeon stated that the amount of water in the entire surrounding was still too extensive to anticipate any release of animals, as conveyed by the closing shape of the directional reading mark. So the water is going to be the essence of its report, and the fact that the water is not allowing anything to go on. Now we've got to stop. Now we've got to wait for Noah to make a new decision. The bird is giving Noah the privilege of command to make a decision, and it's giving its report and saying, report is water. Water everywhere. Water. What do you want to do? Pause. And then Noah has to make the decision, and that's why Tipcha is a melech. It pauses afterwards. Al Panei, over the face of, with a munach. So munach is going to separate us from what came from before, and then move on to the concept that's going to go afterwards. Over face of, number 10. It was prevalent over face of an immeasurable area, and due to the large amount of water, no particular part of any district was yet suitable for any species contained in the ark, as demonstrated by the shape of the reading mark. So,
what did this
separate from the report of the Yonah, we're also now going to just talk about the water. It was everywhere. So separate from what the Yonah had to say, the fact is, the water is, the Yonah could only fly a certain distance. The water is everywhere, even places where the bird couldn't look. Mm-hmm. So, Al Panei, separate from the Yonah's report, the water's everywhere. And what's that going to lead us into? Haaretz, Kol Haaretz, all the land, with an etnachta. So this is a stabilizing note that's perhaps going to have something elevated about it, but it's going to full pause afterwards. All the land still seem to be flooded and not adaptable for any animals to survive, as depicted by the stabilizing shape of the reading mark. The entirety of the land was still in the same state. So the stability is that it has uniformity about it. So all the land is still uninhabitable, and that's the uniformity that's there. That's the
found its new stable point
Mhm.
to date.
But they didn't. I'm not getting it because they didn't see the land. You couldn't see the land; it was under the water.
yes. But
So how do they know?
All the scenery, not the land, what they're seeing is the same. Meaning
So
it's
over the
covered.
face of
Yeah.
all the land is still in that same state of being uninhabitable, and that's the condition right now. So that's the equilibrium that's been reached. That's the etnachta.
That's what I would call it.
Oh, I thought you were.
Vayishlach.
Because how do they even know there is an Aris? Maybe that's what
Sorry.
he's referring to. Like, this whole thing, this flood, wiped away everything, killed everything. Maybe there's no land anymore.
Well, but
Maybe
there's
it's all
not-
the city.
And certainly,
Mountains, rocks.
No,
and certainly-
water. Maybe it's just water, the way it was before land was created. Like,
okay,
in
we're not getting into Noah's head. We don't know whether he had that thought or not.
If you know
But
geology.
certainly,
no, I'm trying to go back with, like, by the stability.
but we've stated haaretz, kol haaretz. So
Mars is what? By this etnachta,
But-
I'm trying to connect it to the notes again.
okay,
Okay, so the etnachta, what does etnachta do? It's a stabilizing
it's a
force.
stabilizing force.
So maybe that's what they're saying. They're saying, even though you can't see any of the land, it's all covered with water, it's still there. At least it's a
Yes.
nechama. You know, there is land. Don't think it's got completely dissolved. There is something to go back to eventually. When the waters will recede,
Yeah.
there still will be land.
Mhm.
That would make sense to me, like what
That's fine.
Etnachta is telling you.
Is
Is that what he's saying, though? What
he's talking in broad terms, so he doesn't give you a specific answer.
I like mine because that no, because that when
And-
we're talking about
but-
that thought, it gives you a deeper
Mhm.
meaning. And
But don't forget, Al Panay had that munach. So that munach is separating it out from the report of the bird. So your answer fits very well with that. So this is just talking about the physical state separate from the bird's report. So your answer fits very well. Okay, but no, you have to take it in context of what you got before as well. Right?
Right.
Otherwise, why would
that I struggle with that also because you say
Mhm.
in context. And yet on one hand we have to look at everything individually, and yet in
Misharet,
context too.
Misharet and Melech.
So nothing is completely on its own ever because it has to be.
That's not true.
Oh really?
You have words that have a melech before and they're a melechim of themselves. So we just saw Hayonam Noach Kadma V'Azla, pause, Lekaf Ragla, Revi'i, pause. So that Lekaf Ragla is sort of standing on its own. Right? 'Cause it's- Mhm.
Place to stand on its own.
Right? So that's so you can make something stand on its own by pausing before and pausing afterwards, and there are a variety of ways to do that. But again, so that's defined, right? That's something that we're gonna come across.
So you're saying the fact that Panay is a munach and it's going to connect to what's coming after, which is
But not
called
only that,
Aretz.
it's separating out from what came from before.
With-
So
with
it's no
report.
longer talking about the bird's report. It's just
Right.
talking about the status of the land.
Right.
And agreed. The stabilizing force is that the land is still there, or that the land is still all the same,
What, covered with water.
covered with water.
Okay.
Vayishlach, and
Now,
he
maybe
stretched.
if it had a katan on it, that would be the part. That would be saying the two different meanings, but it doesn't have it. But we can still get away with what we said, the two meanings. Like you know what I mean? That would for sure.
If we had a katon, we would suspect that there might be land somewhere else that was
uncovered.
good, but the bird just didn't see it.
Right, something like that. Okay. I'm sort of okay.
Mhm. Vayishlach with a mapach, so this is going to fold in everything that's come from before, and then lead to a new, more defined state afterwards. Going to focus us in onto something else. And he stretched. Number 12, Noach appreciated the exhausting report, and he stretched out a warm welcome to receive the pigeon back to the ark, as signified by the shape of the reading mark. So he's going to
So
take he's going to take the report that the Yonah has given
Back
him,
to the report, yeah.
and then he's going to give the bird new orders, or he's going to give a new task, or he's going to choose a path. So we're going to take what we had before, and then we're going to come to something else afterwards that gives us definition. Yado, number 13, his hand, with a pashta. So this is going to emphasize the word, but look forward to what's going to come after it. While the pigeon was close enough to the ark, Noach offered her his hand to help it enter, as emphasized by the directional shape of the reading mark. So his hand
It's almost like it's an outstretched
is going to be the focal point that the bird will be able to land on, and it's going to lead us into what his hand is going to do. Vayikacheha, with a katon. So this is again that doubled note, and he took it, number 14. Noach received the reliable, informative report, and he took it to be his companion and a consultant for his future decisions, as pointed out by the bipartite shape of the reading mark. So not only is he accepting the report, but he's accepting the job that the Yonah did. He's saying, good thorough report, and now you're going to be my lieutenant, and you're going to be given more tasks. So not only is he accepting the report, but he's accepting the report and making a decision about the Yonah.
So wait. The report is okay. The Yonah came back as opposed to, let's say, he came back, and you're saying he talked, or he
No,
was like a Dr. Doolittle, like a Jewish. He understood. The fact that he came back, what does that mean? It could mean two things. It could mean he came back because there was no place to land.
But he came back and asked permission to land. Can I come back now, or do I still have to fly out and look more? And Noah told him, "You can come back. Here's my hand. Thank you for the report. Now this is what we're going to do. You're trusted. You've got a position now. So you're hired."
But how do we know if he didn't talk, or how do we know how to interpret what the Yonah came back? He just came back. It could mean that he came back because there was no land, or he came back because there was land, and he's telling him.
Wait. El Hateva came back to the ark with a katon. The katon has to tell us something about El Hateva.
Right.
It came back to the ark. Well, there's no what's double about the fact that it came back to the ark. So what did we say? We said that it came back to the ark, and it asked permission whether it could land or whether it still had to continue on. Right. And whether that's a behavioral thing or a talking thing, right. I think we're talking probably more behavioral rather than talking. That's not something that we've implied here. But the fact that it's got the katon on El Hateva is telling us a new piece of information that we wouldn't have derived from anything else. So the fact that we need to look for some doubleness there, number 7, El Hateva, has told us a new fact.
Where is the katon?
El Hateva, number 7, to the box.
Right above the vote.
Oh, that I was looking at the wrong. Okay.
And now he's stretched out his hand. Vayikacheha, with another katon. Not only does he accept the report, but he accepts the Yonah, he accepts the dove, the pigeon as well. So accepting the report and accepting the bird, double meaning. Vayaveh, and he brought with a mercha. Number 15. Noach estimated that the pigeon was tired from flying, and he had not eaten for a long time, and he brought food for refreshment and recuperation, as portrayed by the directional shape of the reading mark. So Mercha is going to lightly fold in what came from before, but mostly focus on what's going to go afterwards.
Which word were you on? Elam? No.
Vayave,
Wait a minute.
number 15.
Isn't
And
it
he
severe?
brought.
What is it? No?
It's a mercha.
Okay, I thought it was.
So we're learning things here again that we didn't get from before. That Noach is appreciative and giving more than just bringing the bird back on board, but he is giving it a task and a status, and appreciating its needs and feeding it and allowing it to recuperate. And that's not implied anywhere else. All that we say is he's brought it back, but because we're going to get the emphasis on the next word, because it's going to lead into the next word. Let's read it first. Ota, with it, with a tavir. Tavir has the outer shell with the sheltered dot inside of it. So that's a concept that we're going to bring into what this word is telling us. With it, number 16.
So it's a mercha
From
with a
that-
dot in the middle.
Yes. From that time on, Noach decided to be close to the pigeon and share with it his problems, as manifest by the shape of the reading mark.
It's like
So
holding a
now,
bird in your hand.
so now he's going to do more for this animal. So the mercha, and he brought, is going to have some concept of that because it's leading into ota, that he's sheltering it. So we learn that not only is he just bringing it back on board, but he's tending to its needs. And we wouldn't have learned that from simply saying vayave ota, and he brought it back, brought it to him, and he brought her back.
And the nice thing is it being a tavir is protective, right? So
You
in the
can
middle,
see it.
That's
Mhm.
the whole,
protective. Yeah. So you can
So-
see he's protecting now with
so the
enough.
note is being descriptive.
The note is being descriptive, and it's
In a
adding,
literal
it's
sense.
and in a literal sense,
Yeah.
and it's adding information that
Yeah,
we wouldn't have otherwise gleaned.
right. Which seems to be, I'm now getting the hang of it, what all the notes are doing, they're
Mhm.
being descriptive as well.
A love
In a little-
to himself, tipcha. Tipcha is going to focus us back on what had happened from before, and then it's going to pause afterwards. Number 17, subsequently, Noach transferred the bird to himself to share the same living compartment as referred backwards by the directional shape of the reading mark. So, not only is he, the shot is he's just bringing the board, he's stretching out his hand, brings the bird back onto the ark. No, we've got much more depth here. He's not only bringing it back, he's giving it status, he's feeding it, he's caring for its needs, and he's bringing it to his own living quarters. He's
Right.
doing something more. He's not only sheltering, he's not only bringing it to safety, he's nurturing and creating a relationship. And again, that story we wouldn't have known without the way that we're taking the interpretation of the notes to tell us. El Hateva, with a sof pasuk. So this is something that's going to stabilize and end the phrase. And don't forget, Elav had a pause after it. He considered the pigeon an important asset to the box and for all its inhabitants. So separate from everything that had happened from before, the Yonah now has a new status and a new importance to the entire teva, and that stands separate from what it had done before. It's stabilizing in its new rank.
So like Noah's saying, this is teacher's pet, basically.
Yeah. Well, this is like Yosef. He became the viceroy of the Noah.
Yeah.
Of the
And then
Teva.
and the Paro took him out on chariot and
Yeah.
showed
Yeah.
him up, right, so that everyone could see it. In the signet ring and everything.
And we have a
And then
remark.
he went down and say, I've read it.
Not only does the Sidra derive its title from the name at the start,
What are you talking about now?
Noach, it's a remark. There's just a comment that he adds
After 18.
that the parsha is not only named after Noach's name, Ela Toldet Noach, but the name Noach appears directly and indirectly throughout, in connection with the ark, Tevat Noach. The Zohar attributes particulars of Noach's life to the history of the world. For many reasons, the pigeon symbolizes the Jews, as our rabbis have frequently commented. Yonah, Klal
As
Yisrael.
opposed to Yavan, which is the Jews in Greek culture have always been opposite.
By this view, so again, we're taking the feminine versus
Right.
versus the masculine.
That's what I'm saying. The masculine is Yavan. That's the Greek.
By this view, the sense of this sentence may assume a different understanding. When the pigeon do not find a rest for its basic needs, it shall turn to the commander, and he will stretch his hand, Yado Hagdolah, and he will take it out of the danger and bring it safely to him to serve him at the proper place by the content of the box, the ark.
So in other words, the Yonah is the Jewish people who never found rest in exile, and God has special protection through the Torah, which is also called Teva.
This is another indication of final redemption, Yonah Geula Shlema.
Is saying Shem Havaya? I mean, Hey Vav Yur is in Yonah. I guess Minyan Katan for the Nun is Hey. And that's how he drives the linkage. You look at he's saying that the word Yonah has the same letters as Yud Kei Vav
The
Kei.
tetragrammaton.
The God's name of Yud Kei Vav Kei.
How does he get the where's the
So
Nun become what?
Yud Vav.
Nun is 50 and Hay
so
is
Minyan
5.
Katan.
So there is a tool. There's a tool in Gematria where you can take away the 0,
Right.
where you add the tens column and the ones column, and you still get
Right.
another 5. I think maybe we're going to stop here.
Sure.
Does anybody have any summarizing
Do you want-
content,
No, I like that because
comments, or anything else that they
sing
want
a
to?
sentence for our good friend.
We shall.
No, I
So
think
again-
I made something clicked me today more.
Oh,
Okay. Good.
thank God.
No, but
The-
for everybody, I think you even
Clicking,
said
not
that,
ticking.
that it's
Alan, would you like to read the pasuk out loud?
no.
No?
I'm not enough teachers pet. Okay.
So you haven't learned completely the lesson.
Oh,
ולא
not-
מצא
Yes,
היונה מנוח לכף רגלה ותשוב אליו אל התיבה כי מים על פני כל הארץ וישלח ידו ויקחיה ויבא אותה אליו אל התיבה.
Do you
I
find
think
that
that's
after
where
doing this paper,
Thank you.
I would be afraid. I'm not going to lane ever again after this because
This will go off.
it's like even